Welcome back to the Football Fanatic podcast. I'm your host, Declan O'Connor, and this is episode 18. With me, as usual, we have Howard and Daniel, and this week we have brought along Connor Jordan. So, Connor, you're very welcome. He is a lifelong Man United fan, and he has come to fight his club's corner, which will be a very
I
hard
don't
thing.
even know if I can do that.
We'll see. Look, I'm interested to see what you have to say. Dan, Howard, you're both keeping well.
Yes.
Good.
Good evening. Good evening, Howard.
Go,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I didn't have a wedding this weekend, so I'm fresh as Daisy, ready to talk about
Oh,
football.
man.
Man, good stuff. Yeah, another good weekend of football. A lot of goals. What do you call it? We'll start actually with the team at the moment is Aston Villa. They're kind of 2 points off the top, and not only did they turn over City during the week, but they also turned over Arsenal at the weekend. So 1-0. Just out of curiosity, actually, I'll ask Connor first. What do you make of Aston Villa this season?
They've been excellent. Like they've been really good. They have a decent squad though. They always had a decent squad. Like it just shows now how poor Gerrard was doing while he was there. Because since Emery's come in, like they've really stepped up. But they have the players to do that. Like it doesn't surprise me. Obviously, kind of when people are now talking title challenge, that's probably a bit too far. But to
A bit
be
premature, yeah.
definitely Europe and challenging top four, like they should be with the quality they have. There's no reason why they shouldn't be there anyway. But I think, look, I think
Yeah.
the push for top four. Ultimately, I think the fact that they're in Europe already,
Yeah.
that probably going to hamper them really going forward. And in like whether injuries go their way or not, that's probably going to affect how they do ultimately. But it might be just too many games because they're probably going to keep going in Europe for a while. But
Just does it, of the three, do any of you three think that they're contenders?
No.
For the league?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, because I kind of like what Connor said there. Like, they have a decent enough squad, but there's a few key players there that they really can't replace. So yeah, no, I don't think so. I think they'll probably end up getting a few injuries as well
Yeah.
over the next. I think that's-
Emery is good when you go like a lot of them mid-table teams that he goes to. But if you notice, even with the Villarreal's and that, he does after like a season or two, the teams do start to dip down. Whether that's the other teams figure out what he's about or whatever it is. So I wouldn't be jumping on the Villa and Emery's unreal bandwagon just yet now.
This is a weekly thing, Howard. Like any team that does damage to Arsenal, they're on your list.
Yeah,
No.
you forget he managed Arsenal for a while.
He did, yeah, and he did all right at times, and other times he was super defensive when he shouldn't have. We would get 1-0 leads, and he would just defend, and then we get found out. But no, I just think I think Villa are very good at home. I think they have a good home record, and away from home questionable. But like if I compare Villa to Newcastle, I think Newcastle are streets ahead of them. Now we'll see what happens at the end of the season. You can mark that now, but I think Newcastle will finish ahead of Villa this year.
It's kind of weird you look at away form, like, because they've got results against bigger sides away from home, but then they've gone away to Wolves and away to Bournemouth and like haven't won them games recently. So it's kind of like if they were to get the away form going, though, we could be having a different conversation in come January, February.
Yeah, definitely.
The January transfer window could be a problem for them too, because people are going to come hunting now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know, someone could be tempted there just to
look at like, who. That's actually a good point. Right, in January, who are the players that like people may come looking at Villa, like John McGinn, John McGinn,
Douglas Luiz. Arsenal had a good go at Douglas Luiz before.
They did.
That's a potential there. No, I don't know if they've got Rice now if they bother, but
I think John McGinn has probably been one of the standout players and probably one of the less star-studded type players. Like, he's just a tough midfielder. Like
they're a fairly good goalkeeper as well.
Yeah,
no, Martinez is brilliant.
Yeah, like you think it likes maybe not in January, but come the summertime, if Onana keeps having a bit of a nightmare, maybe your man's. I don't know whether or not your man at Sanchez is good enough for Chelsea. Arsenal could be in goalkeeping issues as well. So I think Martinez will be one.
Why do people think the Villa are going to sell players? Like
well,
they've plenty of money. They've plenty of money to knock.
Yeah, but player power. They could end up having that, but yeah, no, they're obviously not going to want to sell lads. But
it'd be a premium. It'd be like Brighton last year. Remember Brighton with Casado
Yeah.
and that? Like they were like, no, we're going to hold on to him. Or like,
Yeah.
no, Arsenal went in for him. Like, no money. We'll let him go in the summer because they wanted to get the get European qualification.
Brighton are so stable financially though. They can afford to say no. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like I don't know Villa. I honestly don't know. Are they that comfortable or?
I think so. Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah.
Then they're probably not. They don't need to cash in as such. Short term.
I know. Still though, I mean, if you're a chairman and someone comes in for Ollie Watkins for like something ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't know what he's left contract wise, what he has left. I don't know. I suppose those things will play a role too. Like,
yeah, Howard, on the game itself, did you feel Arsenal deserved something from the game?
Definitely, yeah. Like I thought after the 7 minute where Villa were they came out of the trap, they got a brilliant goal. In fairness, a great team goal. Thought maybe Ben White could have done better blocking it. But after that, I thought it was all Arsenal. Like they had one breakaway, Watkins, and it was a potential offside, but I think he was on, and Ray made a save. But after that, there was nothing from Villa. I thought Odegaard missed a sitter in the first half.
Yeah, he did.
Took
He did
so many
actually,
touches, and it was just so obvious he was going into the corner. And Martinez made a good save and predicted it. And I thought like they were a bit like Liverpool against City that time when we were getting into positions like in the final third, like and like we were breaking the line a good bit of the time, but we weren't. After we got it, it was like the pass to set up the goal wasn't there. Like we were getting into dangerous positions, but we weren't doing anything with it. And Arsenal kind of we like apart from Trossard, we don't really have another person off the bench that can come on. And if let's say your Sakas or Martinellis are having an off day and they're not producing, we don't really have anyone apart from Trossard to come on and do something. And that's probably something that Arsenal are a bit weak in that regards to try and change a game. I thought just on other things, I thought the second half then when they came out, you had obviously the Jesus potential penalty. Now, when I was watching it,
I didn't think that was a penalty.
Yeah, when I was watching it in replay, I was like, I saw the replay, and I was like us talking about football, it's not a penalty, but like it's them kind of penalties are given all the time in the Premier League. So like that was, I suppose, the disappointing side of it. Like the Crystal Palace game earlier, for Dan will know that your man getting a kick in the back of the ankle in the Liverpool game was pretty much nearly identical to the amount of contact that was on Jesus as well. So you're getting one decision and they're not getting given the other decision. So, but look, I didn't think it was a penalty in general, but you see him
should Havertz's goal have stood, do you think?
Like it's a daft rule, but it's the rule, I guess. What I didn't get is how did the referee see that? Like there's no way that referee saw that handball, and I think I think personally, like with Arteta and the crack with Newcastle and all that, the comments he made, I think Arsenal are going to have a bit of an uphill battle with refs for the next few months. I think with all the crack that he said, I think they're happy enough to try and not give any 50-50 decisions or any let's say like the referee saw a handball. There was no handball. I don't know how he saw the handball. Like he's looking like how many times have we said that referees just let VAR decide. Like if it goes in, let VAR decide and let us see if it's a handball before that. But he called it beforehand, which I thought was a bit bizarre. But you wouldn't expect anything different from a referee who's a confessed Liverpool fan. So you won't see him Dan ref in your games now because he's not allowed to ref your games.
No, but you're talking about Arteta there, Burley. You come on here a couple of weeks now and giving their shite to the refs as well. So maybe they're listening to you. They're not happy.
Maybe they're listening to me. Yeah, maybe they're tuning into the podcast. But no, I think
what was the reason for the penalty not being given? Was there like
yeah, I think they felt there probably wasn't enough contact to make Jesus go over like he did, I guess.
So he's caught him, but they're just saying it's not enough.
Yeah, that's what the VAR the referee's looking straight at it. I thought the referee would just give it, but then if he gives it, they're not overturning it. Like that's penalty.
No, I thought it was going to be given. I mean, I thought he's got enough of him. He's clipped him enough.
Yeah, you would have given it.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's clipped him enough to. If that's the United, so I'm still giving out about nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I think
he doesn't get the ball, and it's his leg is up in the air.
Yeah, he kicks his leg. Yeah, back his leg. Like it is, you see them giving all the time, but like like these are the kind of things that I think they're not. I don't think Arsenal are going to get that rub of the green off refs for maybe in a month or two time when it all calms down and nothing. But at the moment, I think they're. I don't think they're not going to get that. Also, I don't know if you saw the Diego Carlos elbow Nketiah in the face. That was a blatant red card.
I didn't see that. No.
Did you see it? What?
Dan, did you see that?
No.
You should see the clip.
No,
You should see. I'll send you.
Howard, you're on your own there. Like.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the clip afterwards. But like, it's an absolute blatant. It's actually worse than the Guimaraes one in Newcastle. Blatant turns around, hits him in the elbow.
Like I've watched all the highlights. It's the first time I've heard of any elbow. So
I'll send it on to you. You can look at it.
Yeah, no, do. Yeah, you're on your own.
And all the listeners can look it up and see what they think, because if everyone actually thinks that it's not a red card, they don't know the rules of football. But the referee also gave a yellow card for it, but you see in the replay the ref isn't even looking at it. So I don't know how he comes up with the yellow card decision. Maybe one of his assistants came in, but no, look, it's at the end of the game, 85th minute. It wasn't going to make a difference to the scoreline, but it's just it was just another reckless use of the arm by an opponent again that hasn't been picked up.
So basically, Aston Villa are on your list now as well as Chelsea and Newcastle.
I actually don't mind. I like. I just say about Aston Villa, like they were. I was expecting them to put out a better performance than they did, because I watched the City game and they absolutely destroyed and dismantled City. And I thought they were going to come out. I was like, after the first goal, I was like, oh, here we go. And I was surprised how much maybe they got tired, or I don't know what it was. Maybe they tried to hold on to the 1-0 lead. But I was surprised how kind of reserved and just defensive they were after that, because even when they went 1-0 up against City, they dominated City after they were looking for a second and a third.
You were much better against them than we were, 100%.
Yeah, so that was supposed was a positive. It was just disappointing that they didn't take their chances, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. So Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Dan, are you starting to believe yet?
Well, they got out of jail, honestly. I don't think you watched the game.
Yeah.
Oh, like fuck me, like they were very bad against Sheffield United, but like they were. I thought it couldn't get any worse. And
what's going on there? Like they're just like.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. Like it's just
top of the league.
Yeah, but you're pulling out of the bag though.
Yeah. I don't think they played well since they met Forest at home back in October. Honestly, like in so many of their games, they just had lack fluidity. They get to the final 30% an hour, but Arsenal, Liverpool as well, they get to the final third. They're just like constantly either not picking the right pass or just making a fucking hash of it. But look, top of the league. Defensively, actually, when you look at their stats, they're quite good. But in the games that I've watched, there's been a lot of chances that they're conceding, but they're not conceding goals from them. Dyke is probably doing the work with 3 men at times, to be honest, as well. Yeah. And yeah, got out of jail. You know, Elliott, in fairness to him, he's gone a few times this season as a sub, and he's done well. Gomez, in fairness to him as well, he was terrible at left back during the week, but he came on the last half hour and he was very effective down the right. But look, they got a bit lucky. Like poor Ayu there got an awful dude. In fairness, it was never a red card for him. You know, but look, Salah's hit 200. You know, Liverpool going well defensively, not conceding many goals, had the most shots in the league. I think they scored the most goals in the league. So like, you're kind of looking at it going, it's weird. I don't feel that we played well, and that's probably the kind of thing you try to take the positive of, is actually start playing well. Have an interesting couple of games coming up, like they play United at home, West Ham in the Cup, and then Arsenal at home. So like in them big games, you'd always fancy us at Anfield to take points from them. So you're talking then probably could be top of Christmas. But away from home, some of them performances have been very shoddy. Like it's like they're just not assured themselves, or I don't know what it is, but they're just can't seem to kind of keep that rhythm and everything up. Like they go through spells in a couple of minutes, and maybe that's just the way they are. They're kind of not playing great in games, but can go through like 10 minutes where they score 2 goals and win the match 2-1. Like that's probably,
is it worrying like that? Like the goals against Fulham, you know, they were like long distance shots that you got, and then you had the Palace game, you got sent off. Like, did it look like you were going to get back into it before that? Are you kind of worried that, like, from a performance aspect, you could be knocking on the door and in a game and then not score, and then you finally get a goal, and it's like, great, we got a goal and we were able to get over the line, but you're actually not even creating the chances and possession wise dominating the games that you would think.
Yeah, I think their biggest problem is that they don't know how to play against a low block. So if a team just goes 10 men behind the ball, we really struggle against them. You're like nearly looking for a moment of brilliance, or maybe that's where the Trent argument for midfield comes into play, because you know he can unlock the door. Could he be playing in midfield and you play like Gomez right back for a few games, see how we get on, especially against teams where you're going to dominate the ball. Like Liverpool had loads of possession. I wouldn't say they had like 89, 90% possession in the game against Palace, but like they were creating very little. They had no shots on target up until the Salah shot. I think it was their first one, and Palace had been struggling. So like there is no excuse for how poorly they were. I think Klopp's assessment in that game was fairly good. Like it was like 76 minutes. You've never seen a game where a team were so undeserving of and in fairness, that's exactly the way it was. It is worrying, but like from that point of view, but you can't be too worried when you're sitting.
Absolutely, you're 2 points ahead, top of the table.
That's your worries. You don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like I suppose at the start of the season, it was get back into the Champions League, and here you're sitting top of the table. City look like they're just a small bit off it. Arsenal as well don't look like they're kind of. I think Arsenal transfer day put them in a similar boat to us. It's like they're getting through games. Yeah, got a few late winners. Liverpool got a few late winners in games now as well. And you could say, look, it's a winning mentality. There's a bit more steel behind both of them sides than maybe there was in previous years. So
it's just a lot of times you put into group text and say like you were playing dirt, like we're playing so bad.
And I'm being serious. Like it's not. It's not. And I don't know if you've been watching them, sure as well. I'm sure you've seen the same. Yeah, I'm seeing is there's no fluidity to their play. And like you're kind of really looking for just a moment of brilliance as opposed to like they're not hammering on the opposition's goal, especially away from home anyway. Home is a different story. You kind of fancy we'll take most of our points easy enough, or if not easy enough, we'll get over the line at home. But in them games against Sheffield United, Palace, like their teams, you think a team that's going to go win the league is going to blow the wind. Maybe it's just that kind of season where no one's going to be blowing anyone away, and they're kind of just scrapping to the end to try and get 3 points. And look, I don't know if you see the stats that come out there with Liverpool, like they've taken 18 points away from home, away from a losing position, more than anyone else in the league. And then they've what was the stat I read yesterday about Alex Ferguson, that was more, it was more 90-minute winners in his time at Liverpool than Alex Ferguson had in his whole reign at United. I think he had 16 and Klopp had 17. Like that's a mental stat, like So and that, as Carragher said, it isn't luck. Like fair enough, the odd one here and there that's going to be a bit of luck in it, but they obviously back themselves and like keep going, and they have a great manager that can keep them going and can make good substitutions, And as Howard was saying there about his bench, but our bench the weekend as well, like we were bringing Elliott on and Gomez on. There was no Jota. Fair enough, we brought on Gakpo, who's hasn't hit heights I thought he'd hit for us now as well. But players to come off the bench, like Curtis Jones has been there a while now as well, and I've always kind of liked him. But when you're looking for players to come on and get you a goal, there's outside of that front three. If you swap them up and you bring on, say, Jota, Gakpo, Elliott seems to be the other one, that can come on and get a goal. But in the fields, I still reckon I genuinely, if we could get a 6 in January that can actually play the 6th role, and not sure about the centre back thing. I know he said he's not going to go for anyone in January, so he's going to have to make do with what we have there. But I don't fancy Endo. I don't be seeing Endo. He got hooked off at half time against Palace. He was fucking atrocious, and he got hooked off.
30 million, was it, or something?
No, he was only 15 to 16 million. He was small money.
You were saying about the bench there. You were saying it as well, Howard, about yours, but like City as well, they didn't really have a whole pile to bring off their bench the other day.
Like Grealish, isn't it? They had Grealish on the bench, did it?
Oscar
Grealish
Bob
at the moment. Oscar Bob.
There's a £100 million player.
Grealish got started,
At the weekend he started, but in the last 2 weeks.
I know Haaland is injured every obviously always. But like it's not like they had stacked like they would have been in other years.
No, not anymore. No, definitely not. And again, there are a few injuries, fair enough, but
is that stacked anymore, like as it used to be.
I have a good question, actually. Connor, City, Liverpool, Arsenal fan in front of you. Who would you like to see win the league?
I like to see win.
Would I like to win?
Who would you least hate to win the league?
I'd say
probably because Cities will have to be taken off them anyway. Maybe City.
What do you mean? No, what do you mean by that?
That's a good one.
You know well what he means by that.
I have 115 reasons why.
Piss off.
People don't care with City.
But no, if you look at that aside, it'd have to be Arsenal, really.
I thought you'd say Arsenal as well. Actually,
Arteta does annoy me, but I mean he's done a good job. He's built up a good side there, a good squad. He probably. I mean, obviously Liverpool doesn't even come into the scenario. City only purely because City just win all the time anyway. It mightn't matter as much, but
You have a respect for City, I sense.
No, none. But I know as a team, like
Yeah.
the team is unbelievable. Like it is.
Out
And
of curiosity, with the 115 charges, whenever it does come down the line, I asked Dan this recently. What would you like to see happen? If you were handing out the punishment, what would you give us?
Relegate it down to non-league.
I went for liquidation, Connor.
Yeah, he said just write them off, just wipe them out.
Because every Premier League club is going to sue the shite out.
Yeah,
dissolve them.
I don't look at. I don't know the exact.
That's the thing, and I said this a few weeks ago. Yeah, again, it's pure speculation at this point, but
you really they're kicking the can down the road, and in that
big time,
they've managed to win a treble. Like even if that's taken off them, they've still done it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going. So again, results at the weekend: Luton 1, City 2, Brighton 1, Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1, Brentford 0, Wolves 1, Notts Forest 1, Everton 2, Chelsea 0. I'll just get your quick thoughts on this. And Pochettino talking about bringing in reinforcements in January. What did you think of that one, Dan?
Yeah, look, I've no real interest in talking about Chelsea because I just think they're. I'd much rather
let me talk. So I can talk.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about Sean Dyche, to be honest with you, because he got a 9-point deduction. He's gonna won 3 games in a row. 2 of them which were dodgy. They were Newcastle and Chelsea, and they've won them all to 0 as well. Haven't conceded a goal. So I'd be much more inclined to prop up Everton and say, like, they're 9 points deduction. They're out of the bottom 3.
Brilliant,
Chelsea are just going to be like that for the season. Like, fuck me, Reece James got injured again.
Yeah, I know.
At the weekend, like it's unbelievable. Like, you can't. You're wasting nearly a player a game at this rate with him. Like, you can't trust him at all. And like going forward in that as well, like Palmer seems to be the standout for them like this season. I think he's probably been near enough their best player. But like they're playing Thiago Silva's playing fucking every game. What is he? Nearly 40. Like,
he's 39 now. Yeah.
Like they do need reinforcements, and it's sad because they spent a fucking £1 billion in their time, but they actually do. I think we all said it here during the season. We were listening to some of the players that they signed, and like they definitely need it. But like I have no real interest in Chelsea. I think it should all be about Everton, to be honest with you.
That's a fair point.
How to waste $1 billion in 2 seasons? They do studies on that. Like, you're doing well.
I don't even think like the media or anything really care about Chelsea either, because they're like they should be getting slated every week, like the way but they're not really. And Pochettino, no one's really talking about his job, and it's just like
is his job at risk at the moment?
No.
I'd say it's starting to. I'd say if he doesn't pick it up before Christmas, I'd say he could be gone. I
think I'd give him more time. I think he definitely could be gone, but I'd give him the season anyway. It was a mess he came into. I think people expected him to do better, definitely. But yeah, I think I'd give him the year. At this stage, they've nothing to lose. They might as well keep him there for a year. Go on.
I was going to say the only reason I'm saying that he could be gone for this is like there's a lot of Chelsea fans I know that are kind of starting to get fed up with him, and that's kind of the first step.
I'm just looking at it here. So the Sheffield United, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Luton, and Fulham. So like if they aren't taking at least 12, you would think out of them 5 games. Like if you go through a couple of them games, which they have done this season, where they
that's their next 5, is it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. Okay. Like they're home against Sheffield United next, then they're away to Wolves, home to Palace, away to Luton, and home to Fulham. But you're looking at they're going it's a nice run of games, but like they had a nice run of games earlier in the season, Howard, as you know, and I put them all into my fantasy football, and they weren't worth the home. So
the Chelsea experiment.
You can't trust them at all. You can't trust them at all.
I don't even think they'll get that many out of those games either. Like the likes of Wolves away, I don't think they're getting anything. I don't think they get anything there. Like Wolves are going well. They're a good, solid, organised team. I know watching United, Chelsea are fucking same. Like they go to these away games and just don't.
And a few lads that just have been really poor. Your man Cucurella that they bought, he can't defend at all.
He can't defend.
No, he can't. And they spent big money on him, and like he's one who's there now. Literally, he can't defend. He's no good for them at all.
He's so bad. We tried to get him.
City were in City were in for him as well. Yeah. We were properly out trying to get him, and then Chelsea came along and gave offered more money. But
it's an interesting. And then they could come good, like, but you look at it and you're looking at Caicedo and you're looking at Cucurella, like these guys when they're in a system at Brighton, they look unbelievable players.
Yeah.
And is it just a thing of, is it going to a bigger club? Is it system? Is just a complete shambles and they will come good? Like what is it? Because these are like Cucurella was a Brighton's a good player, but like you're looking at him at Chelsea, you're like Jesus.
Yeah.
What's happened? Caicedo the same.
Enzo started well. Now he started to kind of
100
fade
million
away.
Enzo was as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they're getting overrun in midfield. Like Conor Gallagher is like, fair enough. I know he got sent off the last week, but like he's kind of a workhorse. He's a box to boxer who's kind of putting a shift in. But like, there's a lot of them in there. You look at Jackson. Up front, like,
trying to curl one in top corner and look at Rosie.
But anyway, for someone who didn't want to talk about Chelsea, I'm talking about them.
They're entertaining as well.
It is though. It's enjoyable seeing them seeing them struggle. Okay, Fulham 5. I mean, sorry, Dan, go ahead.
That's okay. Well, like, what are they going to spend in January? What are we talking about?
Yeah, under 100 million on Osherman or whatever.
I'll say 200 million. I'll say 200 million.
What are they going to spend? Where do you begin? Like, where do you start?
Where's the FIFA? You know, where's the regulations there? Like, how are they working this?
I don't know. A lot of 8-year contracts or something like that. Kind
They're all stuck with these
staggering out.
Stuff.
That's going to be a mess as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Where do you go in 5 years' time with Modric? Like, what are you doing with him in 5 years? What are you doing with him now? Let it know.
Yeah, he's
been United.
We're lining them all up.
You're in for Timo Werner here, so you never know.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Me at all.
We'll keep going. All right. Fulham 5, West Ham 0. Fulham getting 10 goals in 2 games. Crazy stuff. Spurs 4, Newcastle 1. Just something I picked up on Newcastle. For me, they look exhausted, and they've had so many injuries. Would the best thing for Newcastle just to be get dumped out of Europe, concentrate in a league? Because I mean, they are the kind of prime example of a game every 3 days not happening for them. Injuries. They're relying on youth players coming into the team. So I mean, they're in Champions League action again this week. So, I mean, they have AC Milan. Would they be, obviously, they're going to go out and give their all, but would it be better for them just to kind of get out of Europe, concentrate in the league, get your players back, bring in new players next season and go for the Champions League properly next season if they get into it? Like, what do you make of it?
I don't know. Like they've done well to get into Champions League this year. They may as well.
Obviously,
I know they're going to give. I know, but like I suppose that's the point. Like you're not going to rest our players for Milan, and I know you're probably saying, look, in hindsight, if they keep going, they might drop out of the Champions League. But you kind of have to go. Like there's no guarantee that they're going to go back into the Champions League next year. You know
that's what I mean. Like if they were out of Europe and given all their injuries, etc. I mean, focus on the league, get back into the top 4 if the 5th position is going to be given this season as well, and reinvest in the summer, get more players in, because again, depth is a huge thing for them as well. Like they don't have the players. Trippier, he was one of the kind of best players in the league for the first few months, and now in the last 2 games, like he's made countless errors.
I got him into my fancy team. That's fucking happened. Remember last week I was telling you I got Trippier in and he's fucking a howler in 2 games.
Yeah, so I mean, just
I was praising him against United. Like this fella is so solid. He's Garnacho in his pocket, so experienced. The car crash, the next 2 games, absolute. Like Son yesterday, like he destroyed him. It was so bad. Like
Dan, you were saying you think
absolutely not. No. I think if Newcastle get out of that group, they will be the worst team for a team to get in the last 16 because it'll be a ridiculously hard place to go. If they have their players back, they'll probably strengthen in January. Like there's absolutely no way that I think they'll definitely be Milan, and I think there's a good chance that. Like PSG are a bunch of shite bags that they'll go with Storm and probably not win. So I think there's every chance that they get out. And even looking at the revenue, like Newcastle are the richest club in the world. So even from the financial fair play, they want to stay in the Champions League for as long as possible, have the revenue to go back in to buy bigger players in the summer. So I think it's just the way it's fallen for them. Like what Livermento was, I think he was originally to play a few games instead of Trippier. And Dan Burn got injured. Can't even remember who I said. There's so many injuries. Like Lascelles definitely probably wouldn't have played all season. Only that like they're after getting injuries at the back as well. Like so they've had a fair whack at them, and you can argue fair enough they got to do enough Spurs, but for a club that has been struggling for injuries, they picked up a few all right results in the last while as well while playing in the Champions League. Like it hasn't been all bad for them. Like they bet Arsenal fair enough, controversially, Howard, but like they have picked up a few big results as well, and I just think that I think they'll get out with the group. I wouldn't be thinking along the lines of what you're saying.
Again, it's just hypothetical. That's
I
all.
think the damage, like the sort of damage you're talking about, that is probably done now. Like from here on in, you're talking about one game tomorrow night or Wednesday night, whatever it is. Then you've got no Champions League for 2 months anyway, and then you're coming back to a 2-game.
Fair point. Fair point.
So you're probably kind of. I think it has definitely damaged them so far. I don't think they've had with injuries. It has damaged them up to now. But I think at this point they're better off to keep going now because
an interesting point was if they were to come third. I mean, they're not going to win in Champions League, but they could definitely win the Europa League. They would be up there to win the Europa League, and like a long run in the Europa League. Again, more European games every 3 days, more pressure on your players, more injuries. Does that cost them a place in the Premier League to get back into the Champions League next season? So there's different ways of looking at it.
That's a nightmare anyway. That scenario. Europa League they definitely don't want that. You've got an extra round as well because you go as the Champions League enjoying like last 32. And then it's a slog. Like Europa League, it sounds like it's really winnable, but like so hard win it. Like I've seen United win it so many times now. Really hard to win that tournament. Like
just on the table, just looking at glance at the Newcastle Champions League table. So it's PSG are 2 points ahead of them. 7 points, and Newcastle
needs to win.
So if there's a draw though in the PSG Dortmund game, and PSG go to 8, and Newcastle will go to 8. I'm not sure how it's head to head, is it, or how does that work? I wonder.
PSG will go.
They hammered. Did they beat? They beat them at home, didn't they?
They hammered them at home like 4-1.
Yeah, so they probably go through on that. It's head to head.
Yeah. And would you fancy PSG? Yeah, like would you fancy PSG going away to Dortmund? Went to Newcastle, and Dortmund's a very similar kind of atmosphere. To go into St James Park. So I think Newcastle will get through anyway. I honestly think they're a nightmare tie for most of the other clubs who want to play them.
All right, so Spurs 4, Newcastle 1, and the final game of the weekend. We left this to last. Man United 0, Bournemouth 3. This is why Connor is on. He is here to speak about Man United. I've called this one Man United Health Warning. Just a quick one, first of all, on the game, Connor, and then we'll go into kind of a few different issues around United. Just go for it. What did you think? What do you think?
I think the same problem. Look, there's a million problems. You couldn't pinpoint one thing, but the one I had a problem with all season this year is the midfield three. Where last year we had Casemiro and Eriksen were sort of in a more of a holding deeper role, where Eriksen was able to get the ball off the defence, start attacks. Casemiro obviously breaking up play. I thought the two of them worked well last year together. They had their flaws because, look, Eriksen ultimately doesn't have the legs anymore to play that position. Casemiro is getting there, but last year was excellent. So I thought that worked well last year. It was a strong point with Bruno in front of him. This year he's decided, because the signing of Mason Mount was the start of it, he has decided that now he needs one holder and he wants to start pressing higher and getting the ball off teams in their defensive third, right? So he's put Bruno and Mount. This was his original plan, to play them as sort of two number 8s or two number 10s, whatever you want to call them. But it's not working because we're not a good pressing team. We're not pressing well. And people are playing through us. And next thing, that holder who was Casemiro earlier in the year, Amrabat, now they're getting played through way too easy. And teams are getting at us way too easy. And it's the same problem. Now he's playing McTominay and Bruno. McTominay's scoring goals, playing as a midfielder, like he's killing us from a possession point of view. Way too high up. But this is what he's been told to do. That's what I think, looking at it is a big problem anyway. Straight, we're not controlling any game because we're midfield.
The kind of talk in the media at the moment is Ten Hag, Gary Neville saying that getting rid of him shouldn't even be up for consideration at the moment. How safe is his job, do you think?
Out
of 10.
He's making it really hard for himself to be. I think they go out of the Champions League tomorrow night. And then you've got Liverpool in Anfield next week. It's impossible to see how you do anything but get well.
With no Bruno.
I think that's probably a positive, because I don't think he didn't want to know about it anyway. He got himself that book, and I'm convinced he got himself that book. I like Bruno because
I read that today as well. Yeah, the people are saying he got himself that book. Yeah,
he's a one. Look, he's a one bit. We don't have that much quality. He is quality, but just lets himself down. Then at times when you really back him, and he let himself down, and I think he let himself down there. I don't think he wanted to know about Anfield next week.
Yeah. I suppose, like, saying that, like, there's obviously discontent within the team, and there were reports on Sky Sports a week ago that Ten Hag had lost 50% of the dressing room.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I hear that, I kind of think, okay, well, like, people are leaking information to the media from within the club. So that's an obvious sign that things aren't good. But I mean, in terms of like players that like you don't want in that team, or is there anyone that stands out that like you don't know why he's playing, you don't know, is there anyone that stands out for you saying you'd have him out straight away and get someone else in?
The only one definitely straight away anyway, without discussion, is Martial. I can't understand why he shouldn't even be still at the club. But anyway, he's getting his wages, and he's happy to play every now and again. So
and like, what's the story with Highland at the moment? Is he injured?
No, he was fit now. He's only back from injury. Okay. Like he seems to only be able to play an hour, and then he comes off, and then he mightn't play the next game, and then he plays an hour or 60, 70 minutes. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know, many times he's played 90 minutes. Probably like, I don't know, maybe, I don't even know if he has played 90 minutes yet. Like, which there's something not right there for a 20-year-old or whatever, he should not be able to play 90 minutes of football. And for
there is a player there, like, he has shown promise.
There is, but there's too much on his shoulders. Like, he's been put under too much pressure to try to be the one to get all those goals straight away with no real record. Like again, it's too much money to have paid for that. Like, ultimately, that could look to not be the case in a few years' time. But like,
it's a weird one.
Afford to play 70 million for a guy that's going to come good in a few years' time. Like, we couldn't afford to do that. Why they done that? It's more evidence of poor planning again. Like, I mean, I know people talked about Harry Kane, but that was never going to happen anyway. There's no way he was going to come to United. Like, I don't think that was an option. You had loads of people going, why didn't they sign Kane? Why didn't they sign Kane? There's a number of different reasons. Firstly, Bayern got him for 100 million. We weren't going to get him for anything less than probably 150, 160, if Levy was even going to accept anything from United at all. And we didn't have that money to spend because of fair play, and we needed to strengthen in other areas, so we couldn't.
Yeah.
But look, there's so many angles. Like, I know I've gone in there and gone on Ten Hag tactically, our setup this year, and but like, that's just one factor. Like, to blame Ten Hag, like, I'm not blaming him for I think he's done things that haven't helped this year. He's done some strange things that haven't helped this year. But like, there's loads of problems at the club. Like, recruitment is all wrong. Like, we've like, the fact that Joel Glazier is the final man to make decisions on what doesn't
surely
happen.
Ten Hag is involved in the recruitment as well. Like, I mean,
that's that is a big part of me. Like, Anthony, like, I mean, he has given the thumbs up there. Like, he's obviously brought Anthony, but then he brought Martinez, who looks like a good signing as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose
he brought the goalie as well.
Onana,
yeah, that's another one. So like you don't want to be beating the manager stick, because ultimately you can't keep changing managers. But that's what I'm saying. Like, he hasn't done himself any favors. Mount, like, that Mount is his signing again. Why? Like, why? Yeah. Like, you've obviously decided you want to play this way, but like, Mount barely played for Chelsea last year. He was injured for most of the year. Like, why would you go sign a player who's been injured so much last season and didn't play? Like, he's now picking up more of these niggly injuries for us, like, without playing hardly in training and stuff.
I suppose, what do you make of Rashford this season versus last season? Like, why has that happened, do you think?
I don't know. He's the one I always get pinned with, because I'm a big Rashford fan.
I think, like, I mean, last season Rashford was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And in previous seasons he's been brilliant, but there was one season again, I don't know which manager was under, but like, the confidence just dropped, and it's a replica of that season there 2 or 3 years ago, and it's obviously something whether it's the manager, way he's treated by the manager, whether he just does, because he's Manchester United born and bred, so maybe he's deeply affected by the way the club has been run or something. But for whatever reason, it's happened again. Like his confidence is at zero, and he was dropped. So I mean, I'm just interested. Howard, Dan, any input there as to why it happens?
He's a foreign player. I'd say he's a confidence foreign player.
Confidence,
what I'd be interested here is from United fan point of view, they're kind of get fed up with him because he's walking around. But would you sell him as a United fan? Would you sell him if someone came in for 60 million in January? Would you say yes or no? Or
at this point, if you had asked me that like last June or whatever,
no way. Like,
not a chance. You wouldn't be going for 60 million either last year.
No. See, after that season, this is the thing. Like, I mean, you can't just be so reactionary to a 2-3 month, whatever it is, form period, and be like, "Oh, he's useless." Like, and too many fans forget how good he was last year, and loads of other spells for United as well. Now, at the minute, if you ask me, I'd take fucking 10 million for him at the minute. But like,
man, things must be bad.
It's so like defending him. It's like so hard to defend him anymore because. But he's funny, like his next
talent is there. Like he's quick feet, he's fast,
he's
pace. Like he's so good on the ball. It's just I think his defensive side of things, or whatever way is going. Like he doesn't have that work ethic. I don't think that the wingers have in the bigger clubs that they're always tracking back. I think he's more of a selfish kind of player, maybe in that aspect.
At this point, I don't think there's any player in that squad I wouldn't sell. I don't think it. I know for a fact not one player I wouldn't sell in that squad. Everybody could be so. Everyone is fair game there. Yeah. There's nobody that can say we need to build around him.
Yeah. What do you think of the way that the whole Sancho thing has been handled?
I think
because it looks like he's going in January.
Yeah, Ten Hag has obviously made a stance. This Sancho's not the first one. He's made a stance that he's discipline, timings, turning up. All this thing is obviously a real big thing. Team meetings, traveling, what you wear to and from games, all that stuff. He's obviously put that in to instill a culture in the club. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring back that culture again.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
It's a brilliant idea.
And I read, what's his name? Matic. There was something recently that he was saying. You saw this as well. Yeah. And in the years he was there, like the likes of Pogba and Sancho, they would arrive late to meetings. I mean, if I was a manager and I kind of saw players turn up late to meetings, they're thinking, well, fuck this. They're not taking this seriously. I'm not having them in my team. What I'm saying is that, like, should he have gone public with it? Should he have been banished to the youths or whatever? Like
last year, I think, or was it last season at some stage, Sancho had his own issues or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
And then Ten Hag sent him to like one of his former clubs in Holland somewhere, like a lower down team, like basically like on a 6-week training camp, like refocus, rethink, like arm around Sancho's shoulder. There's a moment last year where he was brought on against Leeds, and as he's coming on, like they kind of embrace each other. I think he got a goal in that game. They drew. I think we drew 2-2. No, what's happened to Leeds. The next thing, it was all like they looked really good relationship. Like he has kind of coaxed him back, and now it's gone sour again. To me, Sancho is the one to blame there. Like he has given you every chance to really find your form, or I don't even know if you have that form, but to really come back to something.
The problem is Conor though with him. We talked about earlier on one of the podcasts is that it was well documented at the Ortmund that he was at the same crack. So it's like they scouted him. Knew, and that's kind of you kind of mentioned already, Conor. The problem with the recruitment is that they're going in and buying players like the big Casemiro. They give him, he's obviously 31. They give him a 5-year deal. He's in the. It's kind of you already referenced it. Like that is a big problem, like recruitment, and it's not just on Ten Hag's watch. There's several players there who have come in under other managers and never done it.
Yeah.
Like, I have a question for you, just like what? It just seems like there's certain players that he's not playing. That for me, from the games I watched United this season, looked like they were better players who are done more, like the likes of Wan-Bissaka, playing Dalot instead of him. I've seen Dalot in a few of the games there in the last while, and he's made passionate mistakes.
Yeah, he has.
Varane, like, what's the story there? Because like he ended up as a Luke Shaw alongside. Fair enough, Maguire got back into the team, and he got back in. Fair enough, on merit. Like he's had a few good performances, or whatever, like that. Now, he wasn't great, by far from great at the weekend, but like Varane is back. Fair enough, he plays one game, he'll be injured for fucking 4 weeks, but like he's on the bench and he's on a big contract and big money in that as well, and has won nearly everything there is to win the game. Like what's after happening there? Like there's not much. It was kind of came out like there's something after happening, obviously, mean, you're looking at going like he's not playing him. He's not playing Wan-Bissaka. I know he's playing in fairness to McTominay, like he's got goals. You can't not play him. I know what they said about
you have to.
What they're losing out on, like, but he keeps playing Anthony. Anthony has no goals or assists this season. He keeps playing him on the right side, like
Well, like it's like as I said, there's none of them that I really would care that if they didn't play or they didn't go or whatever you sold them, whatever. There's arguments for and against any of those things. Rashford played right wing against Newcastle. Yeah. And as you've seen, Livramento ran off him all day. He just didn't bother tracking him. He walked around, done that. So obviously he has to play someone else. So Anthony comes in next. He done all right against Chelsea. He does a job. He tries hard. At least he tries. Like at that stage, this is where we're back to now. If lad is going to put in a shift, he's worth playing for us.
Yeah, and if you remember Rashford as well, he came out and said that he wasn't happy when he was playing through the middle. So he obviously there's a thing with him that he's not playing in his favourite position. He doesn't give a fuck and he doesn't put it on.
That's it.
He said he was playing wide right, he's playing up front. And it's the same when he was playing up front earlier in the season. Hoyland was in there. United fans were on his case, rightfully so, because he wasn't working hard. He wasn't doing enough up front. And like that, you can't, like, you're after giving him a fucking whopper of a contract in the summer. Like there's no excuse for it. Like,
would you take him at Liverpool then?
No. Well, Rashford in form.
Well, that's Rashford like, to gamble if he's going to be in form or not.
That's the thing with him.
Klopp could get a tune out of him.
Yeah, but like he's had that season in, where he has a good season, and like he goes through, as you said, purple patch, a couple of months. But like he's not. I don't know, like when he's good, he is good. But when he's bad, like when Salah's bad, Salah gets an assist or a goal. When Rashford's bad, he's really fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference. He's basically playing with 10 men on the pitch.
I think he needs to go for himself. He's gone stale. I think he does need to.
We just have to get a whopper contract. He's not going anywhere.
He's not. They're not hope, and they're not selling him. Like not happening. But he's just going to go through these. He's going to go through these cycles, and like he'll score some in the next few weeks or whatever it may be. He'll get a goal, and then he'll get a goal the game after. And then it'll roll, and he'll probably get back into one of these purple patches for a few months, and then it'll come around again, these stale patch again.
Just on that click, the 50% and the leaks and all that into the media. Who, if you were to guess, Connor, who are the culprits? Who are the bowel boys in the back of the class? Yeah,
I would say a lot of it is just media-driven bullshit. I'd say a lot of it. I don't know, is there any players specific? McTominay came out today and said, I've been here through managers, and a lot of it has been like that sort of leaky, toxic environment.
True ages.
At the minute, it's not the same as those times. It's not as bad as those times. Everyone is together. Now, maybe he has to say that.
Yeah.
Does it look like it on the pitch, though?
No, but this is the thing. I don't think there was a lack of effort at the weekend for the first hour. I think after the second goal it was grand down tools, but I don't think there was a lack of effort. Like it was just a lack of quality, really. I think they actually
Martial was giving out stink to Ten Hag on the pitch there. Was it 2 games ago or something?
Yeah, against Newcastle there was a complete lack of effort.
Yeah, you could, and like that kind of carry on, like when you're shouting back to their manager and that, like that, like that doesn't stem just from that moment that happens there. Like,
how does he start him then? Why did he start him?
Yeah, fair point.
I suppose he's literally nobody. I suppose, and like that is the thing that we haven't mentioned is like you have had a fair whopper of injury lists as well. Like
the injury list has been shocking.
That hasn't helped, but like it's like it isn't the root of the cause, because there's a lot more to it than that. But like there has been a lot. Like you brought your man Hoyland, and then you just haven't been able to keep him fit. And in the glimpses we've seen of him, it looks like if he would start game in, game out, he'll get goals. One thing I will say about Noah is that they have him playing through the middle. He looks like a player who wants balls whipped across goal. Like Anthony, you know what he's going to be doing, kind of, shimmy in on the left foot and either whip a ball in or try and have a shot. Rashford's the same from the other side. Like I don't know whether or not the way you play, actually, style of play suits. From what I've seen of Hoyland, anyway.
I don't think there is a style of play. Like I don't keep going on the Ten Hag, because I still think the problems are way beyond him. But this year, I don't think. Like when you look at what Big Ange has done when he's come in at Spurs and the difference he has made, he's put a stamp on it. Like Ten Hag still hasn't put in. Like you couldn't identify them as something at all. Really, they're not anything. Like what has he made?
But could you argue though that the because I heard that comment made about Postecoglou, but could you argue though that the point being that he has a group of players who are willing to learn, or willing to, that he's a younger group, you would say, as well. There's a lot of kind of, I suppose, seasoned pros or lads that have been at United quite a while, like where he's got a lot of young players that are in that side that look like they're willing to buy into it. Is it a thing that they're not buying into Ten Hag's style of play though? They're just not bothered, and now they're, as Neville mentioned the other day there, this whole thing and leaks coming out, like I'm just trying to get him to sack because they're like, well, we don't really like what they're about, so we'll just get you sacked like they have other managers. Is that what's going on? Do you know what I mean?
Potentially, he probably has lost some of them, but I don't know. Look, it's hard to tell. Will someone else come in and get a tune out of 12, 18 months, and then we'll be back here again?
Who would you even go for though? Like, I mean, I know they're talking about, like, you look like going, Jesus, they were to get rid of him. Like, who? Like,
I'd stick with him if I was a fan.
I'd stick with him too.
Stick with him as well, and I think a couple other players need that treatment that Sancho's got as well.
Though, that in itself is concerning that the City, Liverpool, and Arsenal fans
leave him there. Leave him there. Leave him there. Play Martial, he's a great player.
Keep Martial. Put him on a bumper contract.
No, but I just think that like last season was a clear indication of that he is a very good manager. It's just clearly other things within the club are obviously not going well, and the ownership probably being the main one, and then that whole kind of culture seeps down throughout the whole club, into the team, into the players. And I suppose as well, just another thing I wanted to mention, Jim Radcliffe and the 25% thing is likely going to be concluded this week or soon enough. And his intention is to kind of take over the footballing side of things as well as the maintenance at Old Trafford. So, like, will that have a major impact, do you think?
I think probably initially there'll probably be a lift, obviously.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the Glazers are still there. They're still owning a huge portion of the club. So I don't think that goes away. So you still have that negative energy there. Ultimately, if you're 25%, what can you do? Like, you still, like, how this is going to work is a big factor. Like, is this slowly phasing the Glazers out, or is it just you own 25 and you still work for us? Like, we make the decisions here. I mean, like, if you want to go and do something now, do you have to ask the Glazers, is this okay? Or can
probably
you go and do something?
Again, like we don't know. Again, it's speculation.
So how it's broken down is probably how
I think they were saying that, like, it's like the Radcliffe has the footballing side of it, and the Glazers have the commercial kind of marketing side of it. That's what I heard in interviews and people talking about it. But whether that means they can sign someone with their 25% and not go through the Glazers, I doubt it. But
so there you go. Like, I mean, I can understand them. I can understand them not selling. They've got into this, like, scenario. I think 150 million of their own money. That's it. Now they own something that's worth
billions,
upwards of 7-8 billion.
Yeah.
They want to wait. The Glazers want to wait till that 7-8 billion is 15 billion, and then they'll wait till it's 20 billion, and then they'll wait till it's 30 billion. Why would they sell? They're going to keep their hand in there somewhere.
It makes business sense, regardless of whether you like the owners or not. It makes.
This Qatar thing was never. I didn't want that. I was going to say, so they're never selling. That was never going to happen. They were never, ever, ever selling the full club for a fee like 6 billion or whatever. There's no way. They will always see more. They're so greedy, want more and more and more, and that's it.
I was interested listening to Neville. He seemed to be of the opinion that with the FFP that there's a small bit of bother there as well, and that, like, again, given the season that they're having, so you might get knocked out of the Champions League potentially tomorrow night. It looks like at the moment that would happen with football. Nothing with the you don't count the chickens until they hatch. But so that would be a financial blow, obviously, for to lose that revenue, and then wherever you may finish come the league position. And then the problem with not being able to sell off players. So, like, that becomes the issue as well, as to, you're saying there that most of the players there, you'd be happy if most of them were sold in the morning. Problem is though, they haven't been able to kind of get a lot of lads off the books. And then if you don't have the few pounds, like, they did spend money in the summer, fair enough, it wasn't. It's still a decent amount of money. Like,
no, it's not. Look, there's a different misconception there. Glazers aren't spending their own money anyway. That's why we're in problem with Fair Play, because it's not their money they're spending. So that's why we're now getting caught because they're spending clubs' money, not their own money. If they were spending their own money, we wouldn't be getting caught as badly.
Yeah.
So they're spending the club's money. So that's why we go so far and we bring in a Casemiro wherever. We spend the money. But then it's like, oh shit, we need 3 more players. So we have to get Weghorst and Igalo and whoever else we can Reguilon and whoever we can pick up because we've now reached this point.
Yeah, okay.
But it's only ever getting us so far. Like it needs a complete overhaul. Like spending big money on 2 lads or whatever in their fucking 30s or something is just pointless. It's so pointless. Like I'd peel it back. It really needs to be peeled back down to.
Yeah. No,
just on the young lads. Yeah, just on the young lads. So they're like, I thought Garnacho, fair enough, the end product might need a bit of work, but like he's lively, like he's good to watch. He looks like he's
for his age, like
and your man, the other lad as well that played in midfield there recently as well. There was a lot of talk around him.
Yeah.
So like there is a couple of like you could say maybe need more faith needs to start being put into the young lads, I suppose, as well. And like I don't know, it just seems like like what happens there. Like I didn't realize that the financial fair play was as tight as it was for them. So like if they're not competing at a high level to get the revenue in, that allows them to buy more, like where are you going to be left if you can't get the lads off the books? Should it be like
this is why Amrabat was only a loan with option to buy or whatever. They couldn't actually spend the extra whatever it was. Like I think they only went to 20 million or something.
Yeah.
They couldn't go there because it brought them above the margin now. So now they have to organise this late deal that ultimately was probably a blessing because it looks fucking useless anyway.
So they need a whole overhaul. So
I would be more excited about us selling a player than I would about buying a player at this minute because there's so many that need to go. Like, but they're all. If you look back at who we've got rid of in the last few years, it's more likely that they've just ran out of their contract. Matic, Mata, how they just run out of Phil Jones. Like it's so endless amount of players that just they stay there.
You can't sell them. You can't sell them and they're on big money like that. You know what I mean? You get the problem when you put the same Arsenal the same issue when they had the likes of Ozil and all that and
Pepe.
All these fucking lads. Exactly, like Pepe, like sold him for 5 million now. You know,
just listening to the Trevi there kind of talk about that. It all comes back to that footballing department within the club that's not there at the moment that needs to be there. I mean, just the way you said it right there, like can't get rid of players running down their deals, etc.
Yeah.
It's absolutely staring you right in the face. And like one of the major issues to get that footballing department in place, and whether Radcliffe comes in and does that, we'll see.
It probably needs that sporting director to come in and set a plan.
Seems to be the way like kind of clubs are going. Absolutely.
I think we're one of the only teams in Europe, big team, that doesn't have a sporting director, like So,
all right, we will quickly move on to the weekend preview. So we're just going to focus again on Liverpool versus Man United. We're just going to
give us a break, will you?
You never know.
I know we're not doing predictions at the moment. We're waiting for this Christmas competition to pass. But out of curiosity, I want to get the 3 of yours predictions ahead of this game. I'm just curious. Like, do you give United a chance at Anfield, Dan?
No, I don't. When I was there, I was lucky enough that I was at the game last year, and I went into that game. It's amazing what difference 12 months or less than 12 months would make, though, because I went into the game last year going, geez, I'd happy to take a 1-0. Because United at that stage were in decent form. We weren't playing well. We were having a good season, and I kind of thought it was dodgy. And I was like, I think we might nick it, but we'll nick it. And what happened. So I've seen it firsthand what United do, because a lot of them players that played in the last game will be playing on Saturday or on Sunday. Fernandes was one of them, and he was a disgrace because I said when you were watching him in the flesh, like he wasn't the only one. Luke thought there was a couple of them. Actually, we were walking around the pitch for the last half hour, like they'd completely given up the ghost. So, like I don't think it'll be 7-0. I think it's one of them, like they can't see us not winning, to be honest. Like, given how bad things are there, we'd want to go in though with the mentality, which I'm sure we will, which is to go in to seek and destroy, not just fucking, United are in bad shape here, we should beat them comfortably. Because if they do that, you can always get caught on the break with the way we play. We do give up chances. And I'd be so interested to see where Rashford played, because I remember in the first half last season, until the floodgate opened, he was really dangerous a couple of times in behind, was running off the Liverpool back line. So just see what they play in. But I can't see it another. I'd say 3-0. Like I don't think it'll be hammering like 7-0. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do hit them for or 3 or 4 maybe. Like I think we'll win anyway.
Yeah. Connor, what do you think?
Just on last year's game, I actually thought in the I don't think I'd ever talk about
in the first half.
In the first half,
I
don't think it was that much in the game. The first 45 minutes.
No, nil. Or if you would have went in 1-0 up, it would have been a fair enough result at half time.
At half time, I thought we were okay. Shaw put a ball over the top. I don't know, it was after half an hour. And
for Rashford
tried the first time, and it was a poor effort. Alisson saved it fairly easily, but he probably should have scored.
Yeah.
Like, I just forever wonder if that goal went in, what would have happened? Like, it wasn't going to end 7-1 if that went in. Now, the second half was a complete and utter collapse. But the first
once they got the early second goal, it just you could see it. It was like any time then Liverpool got the ball, they were flooding forward, and like United players weren't bothered. Like Fernandes, he got absolutely annihilated on the telly afterwards, and I was watching. You could see like he was just shrugging his shoulders, waving his hands in the air, like whatever other teams or players on teams would just trying to get back in, even put in a cynical foul. He was just waving his hands around, but there was a few of them. Like that Shaw was another one to remember. Like he literally just. He'd stop running, stop trying, like people were just gliding by him. But anyway, look, that was last year, this is this year, and it's funny just how the difference thought. I think we'll definitely win on Sunday, and I don't think it'll be people are talking about in fairness, the aggregate score of Liverpool at Anfield against United over the last couple of years, it is a bit of a cricket score when you look at it, and you don't have a great record of scoring goals there, so you think all things are stacked against United getting anything. So I think it'll be a 3 points and comfortable enough win.
It was, I think last year the 7-0 was 1 week after they won the cup final. United won the cup final.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been the start of March.
Such a difference in a week. United come in, as you say there, like it was kind of a 50-50 in Anfield, which we even at the best of times.
I thought so anyway. I thought so going to it. Yeah.
But this weekend, I can't see anything but a big loss because they're down tools again. Like Liverpool could potentially get 2 goals in the first 10 minutes because they'll come at us like a train. Like, where do you go then? You're only going to 7 again if that happens.
Amazing that like you talk about a team down in tools. It's like, and you see the banners in the crowd like just shows you care and stuff like this, and like it's crazy to see, or play like you mean it. Isn't that what the one that was in the crowd recently?
It's a thing though when you're actually at the match though. It's in the the way like we watch games at the weekend and you can't see every player on the pitch when you're watching on the telly. It's like as in where, and then you're hearing after the game we're talking about the running stats, things like that. But when we're actually watching it live, it's the first game that I've been at ever a Premier League game where you actually could see that they just had actually given up. Like they just had and they got flack over. Like Fernandes in particular, I think was the one that got the most kind of.
The funny thing about United this year for a team that like everyone, and I said they're down tools so easily. Like we've so many late wins. We've got a few late wins this year where you think where he keeps drawing on. We never die. We're next our fighting spirit to sit here like beating Brentford, beating Fulham, all these games that we've won late and hung on in and all this kind of stuff. Like Ten Hag kind of always points to that as we're so together because it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You're 100% right there. Just something you said earlier on, Connor, is that like he doesn't do himself any favors.
No.
And I remember he was saying there, and I read it. It was after a game at the weekend, like that games like Galatasaray where they played well. But the Galatasaray game was like it was complete kind of implosion. I thought kind of just
what he said. He said that we played well against Everton. And before the Newcastle game, he said we played well against Everton and we played well against Copenhagen, right?
Yeah.
So we drew 3-3 with Copenhagen. Was it lost? I can't remember now. It was such a mess. All the Champions League lost 4-3, right? Against Everton, that is the most false 3-0 performance of all time. Everton were probably robbed that day. We got this unbelievable goal after 3 minutes. We were absolutely cleaned out until the 60th minute. And we got a penalty from probably our next attack.
Yeah.
And at that stage, Everton have probably gone, fuck's sake.
But his comments, Ten Hag's comments like that, I think annoy United fans and everyone else. Like, he comes out with these comments afterwards saying, "Oh, we scored a goal, but it was offside." It's like, all right, it was kind of
like the Arsenal one. Like people going on about the Arsenal goal, he was offside. Like that's it. Like I mean, that's about it. There's no debate. It's not like it's it's up for interpretation. Like, he's
Yeah,
offside.
it's black and white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard, your prediction for the weekend?
I'm gonna go 2-0 Liverpool. But as a word of caution, I would say that if Liverpool go with the performance that they played against Crystal Palace and Sheffield United, which I definitely don't think they will, but if they did do something like that, they could be found out by United just on an off chance of being complacent.
They haven't played like but they haven't played like that at home all season. Even in the Fulham game.
The Fulham game, yeah.
Yeah, but in the Fulham game, for a lot of period of that game, like they played well, like they were playing good stuff.
But all their goals were like crackers from outside the box, like.
Yeah. But they actually in the game played well. There was actually fluidity to their attack.
Yeah. Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But you're right though. Like if they play like that, there wouldn't be many teams.
It's the thing, it's the thing is it's United. So anytime they play United, especially in Anfield, they turn on they
turn under Klopp especially.
Yeah,
he never allowed them to be off the ball in Anfield against United. I don't remember a time when they haven't been on it against United. Now they really always are. The crowd is up. He always has them. Like I think he fucking hates United. I actually think he does that.
I'd say it's a fairly good
comment. It's interesting though, because do you remember last season he had just come off the hiding of Brentford, and we played G away in the very next game. And I remember the talk was how many were Liverpool going to score, and he bet us that day. So there is a mentality.
That's Old Trafford, and if this weekend was in Old Trafford, I'd be like, there's a chance that we could. You never know. Liverpool don't play well in Old Trafford a lot, but the other way around in Anfield, I just can't see if you said to me 2-0, I'd probably just take it now.
Well, like City are now within 4 of Liverpool after our brilliant victory over Luton yesterday. So I'm gonna say United and Liverpool to draw, and then City to beat Palace on Saturday. So we'll be within 2 points. So fingers crossed.
Then Arsenal and Liverpool to draw, City to win and go back on top.
See,
for Christmas.
just like that. It's
everything is so early.
He's after explaining exactly how we're going to get back on top. We're going to need more than that. It's right. We'll move on to fantasy football. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, well, look, where do you even begin? I took -8 at the weekend, just for anyone who's listening. Which usually means you're a man who's on tilt, and that was a bit of the case there at the weekend. So I made 4 transfers, didn't improve my team. I was mad to get Trent into my team, so I had to nearly take 2 players out to make enough money to put Trent into my team. It's so fucking expensive.
How much is it?
He's 8.1 million. So like
for a defender.
He's a defender kind of playing fucking nearly. What is he playing, like nearly the 10 position now? Like at times. So anyway, look, I had a bit of a mare there at the weekend, and I could be making more changes. Done something silly as well. I usually would have Salah as my vice captain. I just didn't check because I presumed Haaland was playing, and I had Alvarez as my captain. So that wasn't ideal either. So yeah, I had a terrible week. A lot of people had there was a lot of kind of poor enough showings, I suppose. Haaland not playing. There was a few strange ones. My main man here on the screen, Howard, his vice captain when Haaland didn't play was Raya, goalkeeper for Arsenal.
Why?
Oh man, I was dead certain he was gonna say a penalty and put out a load of stops. No, I was just one of them.
You're deluded, man. You know that. That's why you're down in 17th now.
It's a lack of awareness of who my vice captain was.
Yeah.
I clicked on it. I was like, surely I have it as Alvarez or someone like that. But I think it's set from the original when you set up your team at the start of the season. I think I think it automatically goes to your keeper or something like that. Anyway, that's my.
Anyway, enough about me and me and Howard, the 2 shite bags with a terrible week. Let's talk about some people who are doing well. So Andrews Curley had another class. Like he seems to be every week he's hitting decent numbers. Like he's 62 there. Oisin Macaulay had 68, which is another cracking week. Paul Breslin there was 60. So like there was a few that hit.
And hold on now as well. Like I usually use the fantasy football section to take a dig at Jordan since he's here right now.
Beanbags has moved down there a bit actually.
He's kind of gone down to 8 if I'm looking at the table. And
I have a gawk here.
You're the only one
yeah.
here, Jordan, that's like actually tastes what it's like to be on top. So these other two, they just continually let themselves down. But I mean,
I'm sliding though. I'm sliding the last.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here now. Like Matoma's kind of he's not doing
Matoma's
what he was
killing
doing at
me.
the start. Yeah, and even Nunes, like, even Nunes as
Matoma
well.
himself. Fucking,
And you're
what's going
watching
on?
Nunes.
Nunes was my banker for the last sort of 3 or
Yeah.
4 games. He was the one that was going to bring me back into it, and he's just let me down. But I can't get rid of him before Sunday because he's the type of fucker that you get a hat trick or something.
yeah, honest to God.
Yeah, John, who's killing me as well, and killing a lot of people. If you don't want fucking Son in your team, like he's just he's one of the best players in the league, and you just know week in week out.
But they lost the 3 games in a row, so people were probably like,
I know, but just in general, he's the one. Like he's you know what I mean, for them. He's always going to be involved in everything. What they get was a goal and 2 assists this weekend. Like
so, the other thing is too, because Tottenham don't have Europe, they're probably going to play the same 11 for the whole season. So he's probably never getting dropped. Barry's injured.
Yeah, I brought in Doku and he got injured, and then he hasn't played since. And like he's looking at him going, Grealish is after scoring a couple of goals now. Will he get back in? Like,
it'd be interesting one. Yeah. What do you call it? Just a reminder as well to the eventual winner of this, they'll get a club jersey of their choice. So I'm just kind of wondering, of all 3 of you here, I don't know what jersey I'd kind of like to give. Probably Howard. He's probably the least one, like giving an Arsenal jersey. I don't want to give a Liverpool jersey. I fucking definitely don't want to give a United jersey.
You couldn't afford it to.
I'm happy to give the jersey to whoever the eventual winner is. In fairness, Jordan, you've been on top for a while, so I'd say you'll be thereabouts.
Well, I'll tell you,
I think so.
Well, I can tell you that Claire and Paul Breslin, so their husband, remember at the start of the season we're talking about them, Claire's my cousin. It's their husband and wife. So they're second and third, and they've been like in the top 5 really since the start of it. So just let you know, they're both Liverpool fans, just to let you know.
What's the gap? What's the gap now?
And Andy Curley's an Arsenal fan from memory.
First to 8.
Is he?
Yeah.
Gap from where? Where do you want me to?
First to 8 or wherever I am.
Oh, from where you are. Okay, so you're 40 points off top. So like it's not insurmountable.
No, that's respectable.
You have to think about it as well. Like you have the wild card in January, and then you have African Nations Cup where Salah's probably going to be gone to that, and then you never know what way City are away at that fucking competition and as well. They could pick up an injury. You just wouldn't know what way. Yeah, but that's it. You see, like it's so funny because like so many people had like Rashford and Fernandes was in loads
to start the year,
and then you were getting killed like as well if you're holding on to like Bruno. Jesus, like you'd be getting killed for the price of him to be holding on to him, you know. Yeah.
What do you call it? Yeah, look, we'll see what happens. But Howard, you have dropped to 17, so you need to take a long look at yourself. Come on.
Oh God, that's it's pretty bad. Must do better.
Look and see is there anyone else there? No, 60s.
17.
Is there anyone else there?
Howard, you were up in 7th once.
I was up there. It's all very tight, I think, down there. But it's just that, like, my team needs a revamp, but I don't have I can't play the wild card yet. You know, I'm in that position.
See what happened to us, Howard, as well, where you got. Well, no, not you, because you don't have Salah in your team. But like a lot of people who had Haaland as captain, they had Salah as vice captain. So straight away, you would have been licking your lips, going, "Grand, you just take that," because he got 26. So a lot of people who've done well kind of had him. So like if you're a mug like me and you don't even have him in your team or Son actually either, do you?
No, I'm fucked. Like
you need to. You've been talking this money in the bank. Are you getting interest on it, or what's the story?
I'm working on it. Son, I got my little tip of the day there now. Get Son in, so I'll
Son, yeah. I tell you, it's just the way. Yeah, he's the man. I know that Madison is missing, but like, you know, you look at their team there. Your man Pedro Porro. Watching him the last couple of weeks.
He's playing good stuff.
He's getting so many positions and creating so many chances. Like,
Richarlison is probably one to watch too for a while.
Dan doesn't like Richarlison, Jordan. You have to be careful there.
I wouldn't have thought so, but he's probably one to watch again.
Yeah,
he's now got a couple of goals, isn't he? Yeah.
Go on.
All right, we'll move on. Monksland United at the weekend. The bet Willow Park 2-1 in the senior division. The B team game was yet again postponed, so they unfortunately can't seem to get a game for love nor money. The fixture is next weekend. The senior division, Clara Town versus Monksland at 2:00 in Clara. Mullingar Celtic versus Monksland B at 11 in Mullingar.
And that's definitely going ahead, that one.
Oh, no, I'd say chances are it'll be called off. Like, you know.
One take, would you like to give us your predictions there?
Yeah.
You're after that there last weekend, you were scouting.
I know, I was on. It was actually a very good game. Good goals. Monksland got 2 very good goals. Good few injuries actually. Whether that was the pitch was poor down in Cushla, I don't know, but it was a good game. Nothing too spectacular, but Monksland are kind of keeping up their good form. As Jordan,
they're
as we
still
have,
there. I was talking
yeah,
with Kev today. They're still there. Yeah, they're in with it. They're definitely in with a good shout still.
I was saying last week, Connor, what do you call it? The top 5 teams, like they're 1 point separating them.
Yeah, it's very tight. But the other thing about it is like there's pretty much anybody could beat anybody.
Of course, yeah.
So that's probably a good thing for Monksland at the minute because they do probably need Peters to drop some points. But there's like so many games that will be nothing in it.
Yeah, I mean they drew 0-0 with Peters. I bet Willow. They're going to Clara. Clara won it last 2 years, didn't it?
Last 2 years, yeah. Last year they won it outright, and the year before they beat Monksland in a playoff match.
Okay.
Like the league final, effectively after they finished the season in the draw.
I get you.
And when you were there, Dave, can I ask you, when you were down there at the weekends, wandering around, did anyone kind of whisper into your ear there, you know, any chance of coming to a job for us there? No.
I got the VIP treatment. I didn't get asked to come back. No, absolutely. No.
Fair enough. I'm not that desperate, so okay.
No. My knee is fecked, so I won't be going back playing anywhere. But yeah, I got the VIP treatment. Got a cup of tea at halftime. Got a special parking place. You know,
it's like the City game.
Huh? Life is
good.
Ever
got there.
Like a VIP anywhere you go, huh?
Jordan, while you're here, who's going to win it? So, take your Monksland hat off. Who do you think will win it this year?
Take it off and put it back on. Monksland.
Fair enough.
I think the last 2 years they've made a balls of it in March and April. They should have won the last 2 years.
Are Clara very, very good?
No, they're not very, very good. There was very little between Monksland and Clara the last 2 years, and to lose out on a tight both years, they shouldn't have lost both seasons. They should have won one of them when they were leading coming into the final run. The final in the 3 or 4 games both years, and didn't win either of them. They should have probably won one of them.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So that's next weekend. And finally, our Christmas competition. So this is for the Liverpool versus Arsenal game on the 23rd of December. We're asking you to predict the minute of the first goal, the minute of the first yellow card. So of the 90 spaces, there's 60 taken, so there's 30 left. So we'll ask you to get in contact with the podcast on Instagram, or myself, Dan, or Howard, just to get a place. Again, there's a €50 one for all gift voucher up for grabs for both of them. So thank you to all who have made predictions so far.
Can I predict now?
Yeah, go on. Actually, no, hold on. We don't have it in front of us.
I'll do it again.
Like literally, kind of. Sorry, Dan. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah. 1 second. Talk there. Give me a second.
No worries. Basically, so what I'm kind of seeing is like 1 to 30, 1 to 34. I'll take it. Basically, the 60th to the 80th minute, nobody wants to go near that kind of time.
Yeah.
Either,
so Connor, I have here. So
first goal, is it?
Yeah, no one has picked first, second, or fourth minute, or the 39th, 40th, 42nd, 43rd. No, and in the first half, that's the ones that are left. You're looking at the first half.
Fourth.
Okay.
Fourth. Yeah, it's going to be a quick goal.
Okay, and then yellow card. So first, second, third, fourth, 7th, 44th, 45th are left for first
44,
half.
44. We keep stick with all the
fourth.
Okay. Out of curiosity, Dan, who picked the 90th minute for the first goal? Just remind me. I think I put that one in.
Okay, hang on. For the first goal.
The 90th minute.
In Liverpool, Arsenal, no chance.
Helen Tanray, is it? Tanray?
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering, because there was a few people, like, say, cousins and stuff like that, uncles and aunties, they picked like the 80-odd minute for the first goal. I was like, all right, fair enough, off with you, but it's not going to happen. All right. That will do us for this week, man. Thank you very much. Connor, thank you very much for coming on. Good, interesting talk. Not at all. Good talk on Man United. We will see what happens with them over the Christmas period, as with City, Arsenal and Liverpool. Howard and Dan, Anything else, Dad?
Nothing else.
Nothing else, Declan. I think that's enough. A very productive week as always.
Indeed. All right, man. Listen, have a good week, okay? We'll be talking to you.
Cheers, lads. Cheers, Connor.
Cheers, folks.